Hey guys, CJ here, reviewing the all-new episode of Agent Carter that just finished airing for you. I guess this is technically the third episode, actually, because they did the first two were just kind of like a back-to-back thing. So it kind of actually it hit me while I was kind of typing up my notes for this episode. Just what that means, and what it really means is we've only got 5 episodes left. So some of the things that I'm going to say, kind of keep that in mind when I'm going to say it. I guess firstly, just initial impressions are, interestingly, this show kind of hasn't stuck with the Freak of the Week, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. / X-Files type show structure that it could have. And when I say that, it's not really, a knock on the show, it's not really a knock on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but, your thought is, oh, well, Howard Stark's weapons were taken, they're just going to chase down a different weapon every week, and then in the end they're going to find Howard Stark. And no, it's interesting because they haven't done that. And it's actually telling really one cohesive story while adding in those elements, which is what the best shows do. I mean, when you think of like the best shows, and I'm not comparing this to Breaking Bad or Hannibal in any ways, but when you think of what the best shows do, the best shows, when you think of what they do, it's really just, it's mainly, telling one cohesive story and having things happen along the way, which is really what this show seems to be doing 3 episodes in. But this episode saw Peggy kind of take a turn in the absence of new leads and chase down how Stark's vault was originally robbed. First, though, Jarvis was brought in for questioning concerning the bumper found in the destruction of the Roxxon plant. The writers used this well as a way to do some great development on his character, and this might have just been a Jarvis-centric episode, really talking about his life during the war, treason charge, and all of that relating to how he met his Jewish wife, which was a big part of the story, and Howard Stark. And we got to see more of the chemistry between Peggy and Jarvis as they tracked down the missing weapons to a ship bearing Brandis' mysterious symbol. Where Peggy got to show off her fighting skills, and though Jarvis showed off a bit of his own, it was really Peggy who saved the day and took the guy down fittingly, seeing as this is such an empowered show, and that's sort of the central message is it's, woman strong, and it's Peggy strong, and Peggy doing things and getting things done that men, wouldn't do. And, maybe the highlight of this episode came when Jarvis had to display his American accent and calling an anonymous tip. I mean, it was perfect. That's really all I can say to describe it. It was very stereotypical and kind of hilarious to see how he struggled with it, but at the same time, it was just a perfect accent. Things took a dramatic turn south as Krasmensky was shot by a man who had been tracking them from the crime scene. And this is kind of funny. They had been leading up with a little more Krasmensky focus than they had done in the past. In the previous 2 episodes, so it's not really like, an established past, but they did, kind of do more of a focus on him. He had a couple more lines to say this week, and of course the episode ends in him being offed, more or less, which leads to some sorrow, in the SSR staff, and I'll get to that more when I get to my pros and cons. Some poignancy from Sousa, and, even a great turn from Shea Wiggum as the SSR chief, and he has just been such a great get from this show, coming off Boardwalk Empire. He's really well-versed in that period, how people talk and act, but really, and I think he's probably really stealing every scene he's in, Shea Wiggum is, just personally, I think, he's incredible, such a great get. The episode ended well, though, as Peggy showed signs of beginning to confide in Angie, something that had been, kind of driving a rift between the two of them, just because, I guess, Angie was like trying to be a friend to Peggy, and Peggy just wasn't having it. She was like, I can't tell you anything. But I mean, I think, a big push for her, starting to confide was Jarvis kind of saying, it's like, while I may never be honest, or while I may never be entirely truthful with my wife, I'm always honest. And so that's kind of the thing is, I think Peggy's drawing a little bit of inspiration from that and saying, I may never, tell her the whole truth, but at least I can be honest. At least I can be a friend. So just a couple of pros and cons for you guys. I've actually got 2 pros, 1 con for this episode, and it's extremely nitpicky, and some of you are going to hate me for this. Firstly, James Darcy as Jarvis continues to amaze. The dude is incredible, and he's really made the role his own. There's more to be discovered within the character, as he kind of hints, and I hope we get to it. I also hope Sousa eventually gets this level of development. I think he will, although it may be a tall order considering we only have 5 episodes to go. However, although there's no Agent Carter next week, in 2 weeks there is some more, and it's a Captain America centric episode, and Krasmensky made a comment about Peggy probably not going from red, white, and blue shield to aluminum crutch, and of course Sousa having that famous crutch. But secondly, the production values and writing continue to amaze me on this show. It feels very much like a noir film set in the Marvel Universe, and you can really see the impact of Chris Marcus and Stephen McFeely, who had previously worked on both Captain America movies as well as a couple of the other Marvel movies. You can tell that they really infuse this show with that period feeling, that 1940s feeling. And that's just perfect because honestly, that's my favorite part of the show is the production value. You can definitely tell that it's inspired by some noir films. But really, the only con that I've got is kind of during the last scene. It was just really nitpicky to have like everyone kind of crying. I mean, it seemed like this guy was just a real jackass. I mean, it's. I think it was kind of an easy out by the writers to kind of show it's like, oh, this has deeply affected the office. But I mean, considering his character and considering how his character interacted with other characters, I'm not quite buying that everyone would have been like so heartbroken, like especially all the switchboard operator girls. Like, why would they really be? It kind of seems to be undercutting the strong woman empowerment thing, although I guess they're trying to paint Peggy as a little bit of a pioneer. But anyways, I guess it's definitely nitpicky, like I said, but even Peggy gets choked up at the end about it, it seems. And so that's kind of one of those things where maybe what Sousa said about this being, this job can take you at any minute, more or less, kind of hit her hard. But anyways, that's pretty much it for me here. For prediction time, I guess nothing next week, but we're going to get more of... It seems like we're going to get Howard Stark back in the next episode, which is kind of surprising considering he's supposed to be underground. But anyways, of course, stay tuned for that. Stay tuned here at the Hybrid Network for everything news, comic book reviews, etc. So comment in the comment section below, where you should be commenting, and tell me what you thought of this episode. Did you like it? Did you not like it? And really what you feel about the show so far. I think it's been incredibly good, and so far it's kind of... Although I think Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. has drastically improved, I still think this show, even only 3 episodes in, is much, much better than Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. right now. And I'm a fan of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and I'll say that. I think Agent Carter is great. But I think a lot of that lends itself to the fact that it's a miniseries. Anyways, that wraps it up for me here. This is CJ signing off, and I'll see you next time.